Is Sirkka your family name or?
Yes. That's my first profession. I don't know if you can swear in the podcast, but we are like fucking lucky to have each other.
Hello.
Hello.
Today's visit is in the workspace studio of Miradonna Sirkka.
Or recovery laboratory.
Laboratory, we'll get to that, And Miradonna is an artist based in Helsinki. But what kind of artist? Because that's a bit of a interesting topic also. What do you do?
So I am a contemporary artist. I do a lot of things. For example, I am one of the 3 founders of this space where we are now. It's a multidisciplinary art group called Recovery Laboratory. And then I perform in different places, off stage and on stage, in a black box or white cube, wherever, also unconventional places.
You're more of a performing artist? Actually, the first performing artist.
Oh, nice. Happy to be that one. Yes, I mostly perform or direct other people, other artists, but I also do videos and other media artworks.
Also, you said you are a circus artist.
Yes, that's my first profession. I have a bachelor of circus, and that's what I started the art.
This is just so fascinating that there is this thing, that it exists, like a bachelor of circus.
There is 2 professional circus schools in Finland, which the other one is in Turku and the other one is in Lahti.
Wow.
And I went to the one in Turku, but it's already long time ago. So, and then I shifted my art practice to other art forms also.
But how does one person decide to go into circus art? Like this is such a niche.
It's actually in Finland we have this very big youth circus culture. It's one of the one of the most nourished youth circus culture in Europe. We have a lot of it's quite popular hobby among the young and children, and I was also 7 years old when I started it as a hobby. In Rovaniemi.
Oh yes, you are from Rovaniemi.
And then one thing led to other one, and then I became a professional circus artist.
But do you have any other connection, like somebody in your family that did that before, or how did you?
No, definitely no. It's how one becomes an actor or dancer, but
there are probably many ways to go to it.
I think circus is for me from all my childhood and my teenage years, it has been something where I can create, but also be very physical, because my artworks are also quite physical usually. So I think the circus is an art form that allows you to be creative and physical and also quite experimental. I think it has.
How does the circus differ from other, for just contemporary performing arts?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe I have experience from studying contemporary art in Aalto. So I can somehow compare the studies. So the circus studies was very physical, and all the studies were more academic studies. So I think that's a good question. How does it differ? We pick up a medium, which one we are practicing in the school. Also, already before the school, you are kind of choosing 1 or 2 disciplines, which are your own disciplines.
What were your disciplines?
I was an aerial acrobatic and a hoop artist. You can see the plastic tubes there. They are They are former hula hoops. Yeah, for me it's like for me the definition of circus is quite, like, how to say, flexible. Like in my artworks you can see the circus elements, but I would not maybe like define it only as a circus. Yeah.
Where have you performed as a circus artist? Where? Have you been in the context of a circus? Like, I know that in Helsinki there is this circus that comes every autumn.
Yeah, Circus Finland. Yeah. That's like a different style of circus. There's I could say an example from last year. There is this. It's hard to explain this. It's like a competition for contemporary circus, like Eurovision Song Contest, but for circus. It's super niche, but it's very important thing for circus artists. And last year, Recovery Laboratory's performance was selected in a finalist of this. Actually, same time when Kääriä was competing. Wow. We were in Paris, being like, we are also like representing Finnish contemporary circus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, for example, there we have been performing, and actually quite a lot in circus context too. Yeah, we have many circus artists in the Recovery Laboratory working for us and performing.
Yeah. Let's talk about Recovery Laboratory in a moment.
Okay. Yes.
But like just before that, like when you were starting and you decided to go to take this bachelor in circus, how did your family react? Were they supportive for it?
Yeah, they were quite like surprisingly supportive actually, because it was not a surprise for them, because I've been like already performing in different places and being quite enthusiastic about circus. But maybe they were a bit like, okay, because I just turned 19 when I entered to the school. So maybe it was a little bit like, oh, okay, maybe you get a real job or something like this. Like, and then eventually when I graduated and Recovery Laboratory was already then existing, maybe then my parents were like, okay, she's going to do this, like as a profession. Like, okay, there's no option to.
It's too late now.
It's too late, and yeah, they've been quite okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then from a bachelor in circus, you go to Vika master's degree, which is visual culture and contemporary art.
Yeah.
Is that the path where most of your other peers then went, or
no, definitely
what happens?
No. There's like circus is international by its heart, so I would say many people leave Finland and tour internationally. Some people stay in Finland. Some people become circus teachers in the youth circus, and some start performing. Yeah. Or then you can also apply for the school in other, like for example France. It's very like popular to go in the French circus school. Yeah.
And why did you choose Aalto's Vika program in that case?
I think it was quite natural for me, because I already worked multidisciplinary and I was already like very interested in performance art and media art and other forms of art. So I was searching for something where I can combine and maybe push the physicality even more to what other art forms. Yeah, so it was kind of perfect place, because Vika is a place for where there's artists from different backgrounds. So yeah.
And then you graduated in 2020?
Yes.
You said?
Yes, during the COVID I graduated. Yeah.
I mean, that's probably better than starting during the COVID, I guess.
Yeah, I was actually coming. I was having a master's exchange for 6 months in Tokyo for media art in Tama Art University, and then I came back directly to the lockdown, and I wrote my master thesis in the lockdown, and then I graduated.
So that was quite a lucky moment, actually, because you had time to sit without any distraction.
Yeah, that was a saver also.
And then you say that already in your bachelor's degree you started Recover Laboratory. What is the Recover Laboratory?
Yes, so Recover Laboratory was born in 2014, officially 2016, during my circus studies, because so I broke my hand like very badly. I fell down when I was training, and this was like turning point in my circus practice. I was realizing more or less like that something needs to change, that I felt like I think that it would be more interesting to actually meet the people, because I actually I love meeting people. Like I'm really like genuinely interested in people and like how do they live in their lives and what do they do. So when I was on stage, I felt like very isolated from the audience, and I wanted to do something like one-on-one performances and create more equal, like a equal space for audience and performers. And then slowly we started like this experimenting Recover Laboratory, which would be a route, like labyrinth-like route, where people enter one by one, and there they meet with the artists.
It's a place where you organize these big exhibitions and performances, or?
Yeah, it started from like one big performance called Recover Laboratory, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it was like
it was Recover from your injury.
Yeah, it could be seen like that, but it's also like laboratory, like place where you put everything together and start new things.
Yeah.
And
fun fact that I actually participated in one of the exhibitions of Recover Laboratory in, was it 2018 or
2018? Yeah, Meilahti.
In Meilahti, yeah, but I never met you there, and I was then speaking with another person,
Sophie Häkkinen,
who was organizing it.
Yeah, you were a part of like first we had a performance in this public shelter, which is under the ground. We had the first like performance period there.
Is it public shelter? I always saw it as a parking garage.
Yeah, it's both. Like it's like Helsinki City owns this like huge hall, which is both. It's like public shelter and a parking slot, something like this. Yeah, it's very like extraordinary place because it's so big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And underground, and
Did you actually go to the performance part also, or did you just went to the exhibition part?
I think I only saw the exhibition part.
Yeah.
So there was a separate performance part.
Yeah, the performance was it started from the little like, what is it, kontti, like this like a little box where people enter one by one and they walk through the whole public shelter route, which is like filled with performers and artworks. And then it takes like 1.5 hours for one person to go the whole route.
But that is what I did.
You did that? Okay, yeah.
Ah, so that was the performing part, okay.
Yeah, that was it. And then there was the like, in January then there was this like exhibition without performers. Both. Yeah.
Now I'm confused which one I saw.
But I can.
Anyway, yeah.
You are not the first one confusing because we are doing so many things. That's like one of our slogans. Like we have always something and many things going on. Yeah.
What is going on at the moment?
Well, at the moment we have the space where we are now, and we are planning our upcoming works. And now we have I'm creating my first solo performance exhibition thing, and then I'm doing some performances with Sophie Häkkinen, who is a visual artist who I work with. And then
you're doing them here or somewhere else?
Yeah, here or in. Then we also have residencies in different places. Next week, actually, we are going to Sirkka. Sirkka is a place for new circus in Helsinki.
Is Sirkka your family name, or?
Yes, that's
because it's like so close to Sirkka, which is circus, which is just closing the loop there.
Yeah, I often get asked if Miradonna Sirkka is my real name or did I invent a circus name, but it's my real name. Sirkka means grasshopper in Finnish.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, even more.
Yeah.
So you just came with your name here.
Yeah,
you had no other choice.
Yeah, and it's my real name, given by my mother.
Miradonna is also a pretty rare name, isn't it?
Yeah,
especially in Finland.
Yeah, it comes from prima donna. Yeah. First, I was so embarrassed of that, but then I was like, okay, let's go with that.
Yeah, I mean, my name is also very rare, and I was first very embarrassed by it. And
what is your full name?
Leda is my name, but in Bulgarian, Led is ice. And I've been so ridiculed about my name, like you can't imagine. So I really hated my name until the point when I was in first year university. I think I was looking for a job, and I got hired in this like gallery space shop thing, and the woman said she hired me because of my name.
Okay, wow.
She was like, oh, you can't be. I mean, before we met, she said she was thinking that there can't be a person with this name that would be dumb.
Nice.
Which is interesting logic there, but but then I started to appreciate my name a bit more.
Yeah. Good. I think it's a beautiful name. I never met anyone Leda before.
I mean, it's pretty rare in Bulgaria also, but here I would assume even more. But you're the first Miradonna I'm meeting.
Yeah.
So you are having a performance practice, but you said it's also physical. Do you have separately some physical works you are creating, or are they integrated with the performing part? How does it go?
I like, for example, this what I'm creating now, the solo performance. There is like actual performance part where people are like seeing me doing physical performance, but there's also exhibition with small video works, which will be either experienced before or after the performance part. Yeah, but the videos are mostly like something physical also.
What are the main themes that you are kind of discussing in your work?
Yeah, it varies, but I would say like I kind of like have two art practices, which is Recover Laboratory, which is like the group practice, and then my solo things. I would say in Recover Laboratory it's the connection between people, like feeling of being seen and heard. That's like the core of that work. And then for my like individual practice, I would say it's also something similar, but I would say it's more like recently I've been working a lot with awkwardness and like feeling of like tolerance of feeling awkward. I think that's very natural because I have this physical background, but also circus background, like carnivalistic and like humorous way.
Yeah, and also awkwardness in Finland, it's a very big thing.
Yes, it's visible and like everywhere. Yeah, so
like the most favorite.
Yeah,
no, it's the favorite in brackets, but
yeah, I love to play with like social norms and how to say, like play with expectations and break them, or like point out like this is quite funny that we have these expectations, could we do something different? That is like mainly what I
What are your expectations from this podcast now?
This podcast, oh, it's a good question. I was expecting that we meet and then we talk.
So they are basically fulfilled.
yeah. And yours, what is your expectation?
Yeah, I was expecting that you would be friendly and open, and you are.
Nice to
and that it's going to be just a nice chat. And it's now exceeding my expectations, because apart from the nice chat, we're also having tea, which is a first in the podcast also. Oh. Because so far, I mean, we've had tea or coffee, but it hasn't been on a table so officially like this. With a very beautiful egg in the middle.
Yeah, the second-hand egg. I love it.
How do you express that awkwardness in your work, in the performance, or in an object? Or
if I'm thinking about my circus practice, I use a lot of expectations towards circus, which can be, for example, a trick. Like an audience is usually waiting for a trick. So, for example, with the hoops, I am playing with the expectations of trick, but actually then I can open the hoop and form it as a it's plastic tube, and then talk with the people through the tube. It sounds quite childish, but somehow like people tend to open up when I give it a plastic tube and start talk with them, and they forget the trick, the expectation of trick. I think that's like.
So you trick them.
Kind of, yeah. And then. Yeah, and then with recently with Sofi Häkkinen, who I mentioned before, we have been doing a performance called Life and Death, which is like talking about taboos like hypersexualization and other like queer aesthetics, and like also like commenting on the who can do and what on stage, this kind of things. And I think it's quite, sometimes it can be awkward, but yeah.
I wish I had seen some of your performances live. I haven't.
Maybe after this you can get inspired and come.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you have something coming up, like already set, or are you still kind of working on it?
Yes, I have, but not in Finland at the moment. Next thing is, there's something in Sweden and Denmark, and then in Prague, but nothing in Helsinki yet. But I'm quite sure that there will be something during the summer.
So community has always been very important for you.
Yes,
in your work.
Yes, it's quite essential actually.
How many people do you usually gather here to work?
So we are 3 people who are kind of like organizing everything, which is me and Sofi Häkkinen and Inna Huttunen. And then we work together with different artists from different art fields. So I would say like Recovery Laboratory family members, we call it family members, is like something 13 people maybe. And sometimes more, because these big productions, it can be even like 20 people. It depends, and sometimes we are just like 3, or it depends on the production how many we are.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I'm just thinking about that exhibition that I was part of. It was pretty big project in itself. There were so many artists, and you have to, make all the links and all the details about the things.
Yeah, I think all of us 3 who are like in charge, we are quite like, how to say, we love to work like with different art fields and with this this like attitude, it like creates a community, quite big community, and then we have this like so lovely artists and family members who we work with a lot. Yeah, without them this would not exist, this whole place where we are.
Yeah.
It's quite.
So you've never considered working alone?
No. I was 2 months in a residency just recently alone, and I've been like alone in residencies, but I can do it, but I rather work with people. Yeah.
Have you ever had this creative block thing?
Yes, of course I have had multiple times. Yeah, I think for this the community actually helps a lot if you can share.
Yeah, because they give you different perspectives and like.
Yeah, I think, and they push you, and they, because we are quite close with the people who we work with here, so I think the push can be like quite extreme sometimes, which for myself it works. If I'm having like a block or a catastrophe, it's both like safety but also like.
They push you but not over the edge.
Yeah, they push you and then they also catch you and vice versa, I hope. Yeah.
What do you think are the reasons why an artist would be in such a place?
Like in the place of having a artist block?
Yeah.
Could be many reasons, like private life reasons, for example. Financial reasons affect a lot. I've noticed that. Also, like the pressure. For me, it's the pressure if I have this. How to say? If the inner criticism hits, then it's like somehow you have to shut it off or live with it or be okay with it. I think because I've seen the artists, including myself, they can be pretty harsh on themselves. But also the environment. I think for me, I don't know if it's like directly linked, but it's quite like the artistic block can also become from the because I am afraid with this current politics, what's going in situations, that the art will be even less valued in our society. So I think this is something like creates the stress,
anxiety.
Yeah,
like there's been many cuts in budgets and all that.
Yes, and we are also Recovery Laboratory is also like waiting for the answers from the. And hopefully we can continue with the space, with the home base.
Do you have to deal with that every year, or?
Yes, it's every year. I don't know how do you say it in English, but it's like special grant for like yhdistys. What is this like associations? Yeah, so we are waiting for the answer.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yes.
I hope that. I mean, it's been so many years now. It's gonna.
Yeah, it's going to hopefully figure out somehow. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of a life without Recovery Laboratory?
We have had some phases in our lives because now it's already next year. It will be 10th year.
Wow.
So it's quite an important aspect of our lives. So of course I have been thinking, but I think no, this is such a privilege to have this, and like it's amazing, and we are like, I don't know if you can swear in the podcast, but we are like fucking lucky to have each other. So I would never I wouldn't like to give up it. or it would have been like something super disastrous happening. And we have quite open and transparent like communication about everything, values and finances and everything like this. So I don't know why would we not have it?
Of course, yeah. I mean, as long as you want to do it,
yeah,
of course you're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
Do you have some specific routines or a set process of how you develop a project? Or
I would say yes, I have, but it also varies a lot. Yeah, I'm taking different processes. What has first you need some kind of like idea or irritation or something like this, and then I use a lot of like sounds and music that gives me impulses for the physical work, and then you need a residency, and then it's on stage next. That's like the process, some more or less. Yeah.
Interesting that so you come from sounds and music to turn them into something physical after that.
Yeah, or like more like emotions or like feelings or something like idea, and then I somehow like the music and sound is like somehow like pushing how to like bodily express it, or the vice versa. Sometimes it's yeah.
Have you composed your own music? Or?
No. I'm not a musician at all. That's why we work a lot with like professional musics and composers, and they like pretty closely. I work with 2 musicians. And they are the ones who know how to do it. I only know the like how to say vibes and emotions. Yeah.
And do you need a residency to develop it, or can you develop it without?
It also depends on the scale of the production, because like here we have with Sophie, if we have made a duetto, we have been practicing in this space. But if we need a bigger space with lights and more technique, then we need a residency. But then also we have been doing this like the shows in the public shelter. So then we are scouting for this like extraordinary spaces. It can be also public space, like Kallio district. During the COVID we did this like evening walk in Kallio, which was 2 kilometers long in a public space.
What kind of other spaces you have used?
Wastewater treatment plants. Like this is very specific. It's like big, because under wastewater treatment plants there is this big tunnels where trucks and cars have to drive. So it means that there's a huge tunnels where with empty spaces. So we've been using those places a lot actually.
Wow, where are those places?
In Viikinmäki here in Helsinki there is one, and in Turku in Kakolanmäki we've been doing, actually last August we did for a new performance Turku, a performance there. And then we've been using a lot of like other kind of factories, like heating factories, and also Suomenlinna, the like old fortress.
Are you deliberately trying to stay away from standard exhibition spaces?
Yes, that was the like starting point in the beginning, but then nowadays we are also asked to come to the traditional stages and black boxes and also festivals to make the traditional a bit more weird or something. And I think it works quite well because we have this experience from this like extraordinary spaces.
I read this on your website. It's part of your statement that in your works you propose alternative ways of being and looking at things to the already existing.
Yes.
I mean, that resonates with me a lot. And one reason why I decided to invite you to the podcast.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I guess these like alternative spaces is a part of that.
Yes, definitely. Alternative spaces, also alternative artworks and like visuality. Also, we use a lot of plastic and trash in our like visuals, and I would say like alternative meetings with people. Yeah, for me it's more how to say, when you're performing one-on-one situation, I think it's essential for the artist or the performer to be aware of their own assumptions, how the situations would go or how they meet up with people. I think it's like we have the slogan that everything is possible just like in ordinary day, which I really like. Because in Finland, you might have noticed that people don't so much interact with each other. Like
it's it's a famous.
Yeah. So in these situations, we are kind of like gently pushing towards like this moment when you're in supermarket and you meet up with a stranger, like for example you accidentally grab the same like bag of bread, and then you like normally you would just like be like shocked and be like, oh, this is, but we are trying to push this moment to be like you actually say, look into the eyes and be like, hello.
So and you're doing this on purpose with people?
Yeah, so that we are trying to like, how to say, like trigger people to be more active and also not to be afraid of mistakes, and also to be a little bit light-hearted and laugh for them.
Do you think that is the reason? Do you think it's like this afraid to make a mistake thing?
Yeah, or maybe it's something like to be shy and not used to say hi, or like, yeah, I think something. What do you think why it's?
I don't know. I have been trying to understand this for years now.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I understand somebody being shy. Like, I have been shy in various situations also. But it seems here people are proud to be shy sometimes.
Yeah, that's also true. It's somehow, yeah, I see what you mean, like being proud, like humble somehow, like.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm so shy. Like, that's a thing to brag about.
Yeah, I hate it.
I've always seen it as something that's not brag about.
Yeah.
And try to overcome.
Yes, and I think I hate it because I can see it in myself so much that I would love to be more like out there, but sometimes I just feel like I don't know what to say. And also the statement of like giving alternative ideas is also coming from the queer practice, that like we work a lot with like gender representation, that it wouldn't be so binary or so separated. That's like something that is very important for us.
So what else do you use apart from the plastic tubes?
Yeah,
behind.
Pile of plastic tubes.
Is there something that's like a recurring element?
So we have, yes, there's actually quite a lot. Mainly Sophie, who is the sculpture and fine artist, so she's mainly doing the sculptures and the visuality of our work. And in my solo work I use video also, like screens and projectors. Also, for me, I would say like nowadays the how to say, like the aesthetics is also how to say, like because we work with people, connection between people, so it means also smartphones, like texting and chatting and using like daily life communication tools. So I think that's also quite interesting what I'm like, even I say that I do media art, I'm mainly using this like very daily life media, nothing fancy. So
how are you using smartphones?
Like for example, could I show something?
I mean, if there is a recording, we can also play it on top.
Yeah,
somewhere.
In our performances, for example, we give a chat room where people can chat during the performance with each other, like and it goes behind the performance, and we are asking questions like something like describe a moment when you fell in love, and then people are like chatting there anonymously, so we are making this kind of things. And sometimes we are asking, we have our own phone number, so sometimes we are like WhatsApping with the audience inside the performance, so things like this.
In that context, would you say that social media is important for your practice, and like just promoting it, or are you using it?
Yes, I think it's quite important. Yeah, it's like a tool to access, to communicate with people. Yeah, it's quite important. But it's not like it's not promotion. Promotionally, it's of course important, but not like super important. I would say like this. Yeah.
You don't pay for Facebook ads and stuff.
No. No. But we use a lot of Instagram, and yeah, I used to do it more, but my social media was hacked.
Oh.
So I kind of had to let go a bit. Also.
Did you understand how it happened, or?
Yeah, I understood why it happened and how it happened, and I couldn't like get my things back, and that was quite a big actually loss for my. I didn't realize it before that it happened. That it's quite important actually.
How can one person avoid that from happening?
Yeah, that's please do this, everyone, immediately. There's like two, how to say it, like you can do the verification. Two-factor verification. That's like the most effective way.
Two-factor authentication.
Yeah, please do
authentication, verification.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I recommend everyone to do it.
I mean, of course, I have heard many times of this happening, but I think you're the first person I'm actually speaking with that happened to them.
Yeah, and I was thinking like, no, I don't care so much because I don't have like 10,000 of followers. But then I had maybe like 1,000, and then I realized when it happened, like, okay, that was actually quite a lot. And then because I work internationally, I can't get it back. Like I can't remember the names of everyone, and it's quite a like huge thing actually, even though if you don't think about it.
Especially if there are people only in that platform that you have connection with.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Oh no. Maybe a bit about the studio space. Do you call it studio space or workspace, or or is it just
it's
a space?
It's actually in Finnish it's called tila, which is a space. That's how we call it. It's a studio space and also a very small event space. Like we have these workshops here. Sometimes we have some little shows here. We can invite like 10 people to watch the show, which is super cozy. And then sometimes we have some parties here, and then other meetings and things like this that we are now doing, like 2 people meeting. And
how big is this space?
It's almost 40 square meters, so yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. I like that it's here just in Vaasankatu because then I can see all the people from the window. I love it. I can just wave from.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's almost on the street level, but not entirely.
Yeah.
And you have to go through this. Is it a residential?
Yeah,
entrance?
yeah, it's a residential the house, and this is a former beauty salon. This place, it was like they were doing lashes and nails here, and then we came and I think.
And how long have you been here?
We have been. Oh, how long have we been here? Like a bit more than a year.
Oh, not that much.
Yeah, not so much. I think it changed a lot to have our own space because everything is here, the storage is here.
Is it the first space you have?
Yeah, we have had like shared working rooms and things like this, but this is like the first one only for us. Yeah.
What would you say is the most important part of the space for you?
The ability to not work from home. It makes like mental. It's so important because then you can actually have like free time when you are at home, and it's not your working space. Also, the home. Also, it enables us to invite people and artists, and there's this changing window exhibition that Sophie has been curating. So I really like it. I think it's the 4th artist now here presenting their artwork.
Oh yeah, there is on the window like a title and the name of the person.
Yeah, now there's Luumut Kursas.
So how important is for an artist to have a studio?
I think it's super important. Yeah. Of course, like it changed a lot. Like of course you can manage without, and you can always. But it's nice to have a place where you can leave your stuff and you don't need to carry it, and yeah.
Does your work change if you would have a studio and if you don't? How does it affect the work?
Yeah, I think it would change actually a lot. I think this has given us more freedom to do, like I told you before, that we made this performance Life and Death with Sophie, which is actually like, it's not ordered by anyone, it's not like, it's like, it's made here and it's made by us because we wanted to do it. And it's not made in someone else's premises. So it's like, I think it made it more authentic somehow, and yeah.
Do you go to other performances, exhibitions, such?
Yes, I do quite a lot actually.
Do you have some preferred places where you go, or does it depend on the work?
Yeah, it depends on the work a lot. Where do I go?
What has been recently some interesting place, an event?
On Saturday I was at Sirkka. There was Sirkka is maybe like most familiar for me, which is in Suvilahti. I'm also a member of Sirkka, so maybe that's why also it's like easy for me to go there. Yeah, that's the place. And then I was in Helsinki Contemporary on Saturday. That was very nice. I actually like. There was an artist talk by Arthur Jesus Inger, which was really nice.
I think I saw the post about that talk when they announced the talk, and it was the artist with his pants down or something.
Yeah, this one, same. Yeah, I would not.
I missed that.
Yeah, I would not normally go to this gallery, but I think I liked the work and I was interested. Yeah. So it really depends on the work where I go.
Are there some specific artists that you follow their work? Or like it and somehow influenced you?
Yeah, I was thinking about this question actually quite a lot. of course there's some artists who I kind of follow, but then I think the main influence is coming from my friends who are artists, and I admire them. Like, for example, Sophie, who is an artist, she's like influencing me quite a lot. Like, and this I was thinking, like, what would I answer? I was like, this is, and then it varies a lot. Like, I really like Pilvi Takala's work because she also works with like awkwardness and things like this. So she's, I follow her work, and then now I think I will follow Arthur's work after the artist talk. Yeah.
Must have been a good artist talk.
Yeah, it resonated. It resonates.
Was it in Finnish or in English?
Finnish, actually. Yeah.
You said you were using a lot of these everyday objects and aesthetics, and is this where you get your inspiration mostly?
Yes, I'm very into like everyday inspiration. Yeah, I think it's very natural for me, like, to use everyday movement, everyday object, everyday meetings. And somehow it starts from everyday and then it gets surreal somehow. Yeah.
For your performances, do you usually create like a script beforehand, or do you leave some room for improv?
Both. Usually I have a script. It can be actually quite tight, script, and some like one of the comments that I often get is like, "Is this pre-planned or not?" And yes, it is. Normally it is, even though it's because it's the daily life like style. But because I like the people to interact with the performances, so there's always space for like surprise to happen. Yeah. But quite a lot of script actually. Actually, most of my time goes to script writing also. Yeah.
So writing is an important part.
Yes, I think.
Has it always been, or did it just develop with the need to have the scripts?
I think it has been always somehow already from the youth circus. We were like doing this like handwritten scripts for the shows. So I think it's developed from there.
How long is one performance usually, or does it vary a lot?
Yeah, it varies a lot. Like for example, if it can be 5 minutes, if it's like or
if you go to Aleppo and take somebody's bread.
Yeah, and I think the wastewater treatment plant performances, they can be like 2 hours or 2.5 for a participant, but for a performer it means like 5 hours. It's quite a lot, or even more. Yeah. So it's I would say 5 minutes to 5 hours.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you
for being so open to this and like just immediately saying yes.
Oh yeah. Now I feel like I want to interview you also. Yeah.
Well, we can do that off camera.
Yeah. Well, thank you for inviting me, and yeah.
And good luck with the international performances that are coming.
Thank you.